As a parent myself, I know that we get so much joy and excitement watching our children take on all of their milestones from sitting up to rolling over, crawling, and walking. But truly, there is nothing better than hearing our child's first words. But what if those precious milestones seem to be delayed? If you found yourself worried about your child's speech development, you're not alone. Speech delays affect 5 to 10% of preschool-aged children, with boys being 3 to 4 times more likely to be affected than girls. But here is something that might surprise you. The root cause of many speech delays could be linked to events that happened during birth. Today, we're going to explore an often overlooked factor in speech delays and introduce you to a groundbreaking approach that goes even deeper than speech therapy and occupational therapy to fully address the root causes of speech delays. This video will be especially powerful for families who are already perhaps many months or even years into speech therapy and have seen some great improvements and gains, but have plateaued or not progressed at the rate and the level they're looking for just yet. We're going to discuss the surprising link between birth interventions and speech delays and how neurologically focused chiropractic care can address the root cause of these delays. You'll learn about a holistic approach that could complement or even enhance traditional speech therapies. In our practice, we've seen countless parents struggling with their child's speech delays. They've often tried various therapies and interventions, but the progress is slow or inconsistent. What many don't realize is that speech delays can often be traced all the way back to birth trauma. When we dive into the case histories of our patient population who are struggling with speech delays, well over 80% of them have documented birth interventions like forceps, vacuum extraction, C-sections, or inductions. Studies show that birth interventions like forceps, vacuum extractions, and C-sections, which are used in a significant number of deliveries, can potentially cause physical trauma to an infant's delicate upper neck and brainstem area, and this trauma can lead to neurological dysfunction, which can alter the function of the nerves and the muscles that control and facilitate speech. Now, I have a few main talking points I want to address. Number one is birth intervention and trauma creates subluxation and neuromuscular dysfunction. The physical twisting and pulling that comes with birth interventions leads to something called subluxation, which is which is a misalignment, fixation, and neuromuscular interference or dysfunction. And these subluxations, particularly in the upper neck and the brainstem area, can affect the nerves and the muscles that are crucial for speech production. Number two, here's why this subluxation matters. The nervous system controls everything in the body, including speech development. Subluxations can interfere with the proper function of the nerves that are responsible for speech. Traditional speech therapy, while valuable, may not address these underlying neurological issues because their exam and assessments don't look for them. Number three, speech is a three-step process. First, there is the perception and input or auditory component of speech. Second, the brain and the nervous system must integrate and coordinate or make sense of that initial input. And then three, the third step is the expression or output or the expression of speech. Subluxation can interfere with each step of speech formation, including the first two, which is why it escapes traditional medical and therapy assessments. And lastly, number four, it's not just a muscular or a structural issue. While traditional speech therapy looks at speech delays as almost solely a muscular dysfunction issue, muscles are under the control of the nervous system, so the tone and the coordination of the nervous system matter massively. Additionally, many providers today will blame tongue ties and oral ties, but even those are often first caused by subluxation and the tension or stress on the nerves and the nervous system. This is why so many parents report to us that even after doing traditional speech therapy and maybe even after a tongue or oral tie revision, their children still struggle with speech delays. So how do you know if we can help? The first step to finding out if we can help a child with speech delays in any way is diving deep into their case history. If we find things like a stressful pregnancy, birth interventions and trauma, difficulty nursing and latching, torticollis or plagiocephaly, chronic ear infections, and so forth, we become extra confident that we can help. Number 2, the next step is running our neurological insight scans, which help us find and locate those subluxations within your child's nervous system. And lastly, number 3, once we have this information and those scan findings, we can then create a personalized and customized care plan for your child and sit down and review those results with you at what's called a report of findings visit.